All right. Oh, sorry. Let me. See. All right, we'll give everybody just a minute, and we'll get to it. My back and forth running both of those streams at once is starting to be a little bit of a problem. One second. Oh, B7. My bad, man. All right, looks like we got 7 people on the stream. Make sure to leave a like if you guys are in. The algorithms eat likes. I think they're delicious. Shout out to Sushi for bringing these into my life. Alright, we'll get started here in just a minute. Thank you guys. Aloha. Eyes? Yeah, absolutely. We'll take a look at that. We've actually traded that one before, previously in the past. We're doing a couple different things today. Where's flow? All right. All right, looks like everybody's here. Go ahead and get looking back at the news for today, kind of recap some of today's trades. Definitely an awesome day. Hopefully you guys had a great day. Definitely excited for tomorrow, but also preparing, you know. All right, man, Kenneth. Shh, FBI agent just lean closer. Awesome. That's amazing. All right. So we're going to go over major indexes. We'll go over. So I'm going to write this down for myself. So major. Don't ask me about my back brace. My back has an ouchie. It's a waist slimmer. Just kidding. All right, so major indexes. obviously it's gonna be where we go first. And then we'll go over your guys' plays and I'll write those on there so that way we can recap them tomorrow. I have some of the requests from last night, so we're gonna go over that as well. Thanks, guys. Thanks, B7, I mean. Okay, major indexes, you know what, and I'll go ahead and I will split myself or transition this over. There we go. Okay, so SPY. Not a terrible move. This one pulled back to, pulled back today, kind of stayed in range. I kind of expected that kind of movement here, and forgive all of my extra line. Oh shit, what did I just delete? There we go. So get rid of these lines here. All right. So, going over the major indexes, obviously a little bit of fracturing, I guess, if you will, as far as movement. We had a really parabolic day on Friday of last week, and then we ended up having a bit of a pullback today. That pullback was pretty much met with what looked to be like a flag. We did end up getting that rejection in pre-market, but it bounced right back and helped pull a lot of stocks up with it. I know that Microsoft made a significant move up, but then actually pulled back and kind of stayed in range. And then once the end of the day hit, ended up breaking out. So SPY, down on the day, 0.4%. The Dow, right over here, we are up 0.2%, or yeah, basically 0.28% here. Looking at the hourly time frame, you can see not terrible. Qs though, this is where I believe most of the Microsoft, that kind of movement, ended up playing out. This one looks exactly like Microsoft. In fact, if the Qs end up hitting that 339 mark, I would imagine that's exactly what we would need to see continuation. Obviously, I'm in Microsoft. This level that we hit today, up 1%, is where we previously rejected back on May 7th. That high, which was today's 336.80. This is a bullish continuation candle here. It means that the gains were not done. There was still more to run. So definitely looking for continuation tomorrow. My target is going to be this 339 mark, quite simply, and then I expect a pullback there where we might end up consolidating. But that all will help some of our plays move forward. So small caps, IWM, the Russell, that one made a pretty good move today, up 1.3%. The small caps in general made some pretty nice moves, and I saw a lot of people benefit from, I feel like there's such a huge list, BBIG or BBIB, Fubo, Space even. So meme stocks in general, definitely moving. AMC moved up 15%. That one to be expected. If you guys don't follow my Twitter account, PotterStocks, I'll type that in the channel here. But that is probably where I post a lot of like my midday thoughts on certain things and even midday charts. Obviously, if you guys are in the Discord, you already know. Add an S to that. So this is where we ended last week. Really nice bounce up. Kind of trying to figure out here whether, obviously shorts trying to pull this back under, fake them out. Buyers ended up ending the day above the 6 and the 9 day moving average and breaking down trends. So Not a bad move at all. Pretty stoked about that. Obviously, it's a meme stock, so it's only we can only do so much. If we get a gap up tomorrow, I would imagine we would have similar movement to, as we did today. We could end up using this support as resistance, or this resistance that we broke as support going in. So a retest around there, and then we could continue to slide down. But obviously, I'm looking for buyers to step up. There's still a lot of motivated apes out there, so definitely could see. I'm just going to keep that one on watch. Let's see here. Forgive me, guys. The Russell was up 1.4%. The Qs, though, up 49%. Sorry, I'm stuttering. So Biogen, obviously, that was big news today. That one kind of made most of its moves in pre-market. Absolutely sending it. Huge range, and then pulling back a lot. And so, the range here was all the way from 268 down to, or 468 down to 389.75. So big range there. Definitely with the news, with the Alzheimer news, that's definitely big. That's groundbreaking for sure. Let's see here. Also, another one that's been on my list, watching PSTH, Perfect Cup and Handle, on the hourly. Looking for continuation on that one. I'm going to dig into the fundamentals on what this acquisition, and this would no longer be an acquisition company at this point, but when you invest in them, you would actually be investing in multiple different avenues of profit making. So this one I actually really like, and I like that it gapped down, made it a little bit cheaper. We've played this one from the almost teens up to the 30s. So okay, we can kind of go over some of this, but Bill Ackman's mega SPAC, making the biggest SPAC offering ever. On Friday, they once again hit headlines due to the talks of buying 10% of Universal Music for $4 billion. The decision to take a minority stake in the future IPO is unexpected, but could hugely reward investors. $14.75 of investors' initial $20 will be spent on shares of UMG IOUs until UMG goes public later this year. That reserve the remaining $5.25 for another smaller acquisition target. To sweeten the deal, PSTH investors, or Perishing Square investors, will get a SPAR offering, SPAR, or the right to invest in a new future SPAC, that is, if they're interested in that. And this has never been done before, so we're curious. Everybody's curious to see how that goes. But yeah, they did fall, but I'm not too upset about that. Going over some earnings, Stitch Fix with the freaking rip. Hot damn. This one basically filling the entirety of its gap here on the hourly. They reported, obviously, they beat, hold on one second, where did my news go? Oh yeah, so they beat top and bottom line estimates raised in revenue outlook for the full year. So the stats were the EPS, 18 cents versus the 27-cent estimate. Revenue, $536 million, up 44% year over year. The Stitch Fix president and incoming CEO Elizabeth Spaulding said, in Q3 we delivered $536 million in net revenue, reflecting 44% year over year growth. We grew our active client count to more than 4.1 million, reflecting the 20% year over year growth. Our second highest quarter active client additions ever. they pushed 15% in after hours. Vail Resorts, they reported Q3 earnings after the bell. They hit the EPS at $6.71 with over the $6.67 estimate. $6.71, sorry. Revenue $888 million, up 28% on the year. That's MTM, by the way, and they are up for the year currently. So this is one, looking at the chart here, could see another run, just to throw it out there, just in case anyone's curious. Might not be a bad play here, even if you're being modest and want to throw it back down off the wicks. Run the bodies right there. You have that 346 potentially is the nearest, and you might even be able to creep into the 350s. So results continue to improve as the season progressed, primarily as a result of stronger destination visitation at our Colorado and Utah resorts. Obviously, this is one company, obviously dealing in resorts, kind of expensive, but if you're looking into options, I'd be curious to see how that goes. Okay, so really nothing else in my opinion. We can go over the Apple event. They kicked off the 2021 Developers Conference today. They had the last year, Apple wowed the virtual WWDC audiences with drone shots and smooth transitions. Today, the company showcased a new iOS 15 features tailored to its increasingly digitized world. Some of Apple's latest release include FaceTime updates, allowing users to watch movies and listen to music with callers. Android compatibility on FaceTime calls. Mobile wallet update, permitting users to unlock their car, homes, hotel rooms, even store government IDs on the iPhone. That's crazy. Sorry. That's about it. All right. Now we get to the fun stuff. Tell me about it. Oh yeah. Just just for you guys. Had to. All right, so we're gonna go over my plays. Wow, that sounded super selfish. We're gonna go over my plays, me first. And then we will go over a few other things. I just posted a Microsoft video. If you guys haven't watched that, please be sure to, if you guys are in that trade or just want some extra information, let me know. Look at TradingView changing the alert tabs to little arrows. So Ford, well, let's start with Maxar as this one. So this one, whoo! Super excited, guys. Super excited. Okay, let me not freak out here. So Maxar, not only did it broke out of its channel, but it's up against its gap. Finished the day really strongly. If anybody held those $40 calls from last week that we took, you should be seeing a little bit of momentum in those contracts. I do think that there is no straight lines here, obviously, but Maxar does know how to move. And once movement starts to happen, especially things like, it could be sympathy movement off space, but also we need to keep in mind that we were likely going to see a retest. So if you're in June 18th, just hold, hodl, as long as it stays above those bullish moving averages. But we have a huge gap all the way to $39 on Maxar, and so that's essentially where I'm looking for that. I'm looking for that continuation in those contracts to pick up some movement here. So I'm going to go ahead and just slide that down right there. So really, really great move here. finishing the day up, looks like 2.5%. Can't ask better for a better move. I am buying shares in Maxar, and I will hedge them because the put option contracts on them are so cheap, and when they go in the money, they become quite useful and profitable. So anyway, I'm likely going to try and fill on the if we end up getting a retest. So don't expect an immediate breakout. It could, I could be wrong, but yeah, this first initial gap up to $38.9 is where I'm watching that one. So we signaled forward. And I'm going to give you guys my rationale on that. You guys probably already see my rationale on this. So I'm basically looking at the support. We'll go to the hourly time frame. So this is the support that I'm looking for a bounce off of, right? Pretty clean, obvious, not too spicy. Really, 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 really nice. Flag. Right there. Look at those candles right there. Aren't they cute? So, nice flag into resistance. Needed a down day, right? How long have we been running? May 26th. We had a little bit of 3 days of chop, maybe, if that. Yeah, 3 days of chopping around. Nice move. Pull back. So I see continuation tomorrow. I probably add to my position right before the break of 16. Might be able to get some cheap options on that one as well. This one, I think, if you guys don't know, we took the June 18th $16 calls, and we took the July 16th $20 calls on Ford. Those were at $30. So there you go, B7. And those are, I mean, that's just such a, even for small accounts. Listen. That is where we want to, because it's so cheap, right? I hope that none of you guys just bought one. If you guys did, totally fine. But if you didn't, maybe look at buying another one or buying at least a set, right? How much would you spend on a normal swing trade? $200-$300? Don't, just because it's cheap doesn't mean it's going to pay. Like, take that opportunity to have the opportunity to take profits and if anything, hedge yourself, make it a worthwhile investment. So anything like that that's cheap, especially having time, it's a good setup there. So if we end up breaking this support here, right here, then it's going to be really simple for me. Cut the weeklies or cut the June 18th. And just quite simply take I think we have 1550s. I'm not looking at the chain right now, but if we have 1550s for June 18th, I'll likely grab those. I would expect not a break of 15, but a bounce around 15.15, to be honest with you, would be the first bounce. If it breaks that, then we would likely head here, but 1465. I just don't see that happening. That would end up setting us up for a head and shoulders. Reason why I'm saying any of this, obviously I'm bullish, but I always want to make sure that I'm not overly biased just because I'm in a position. So, okay, Microsoft. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple different things here. So daily, smashing, love it, right? Great movement. Okay, volume. But here's where things are going to get a little weird. It is actually Harry Potter, or it's actually Harry Potter in the thing, but it's PotterStocks. Let me post. I'm not super like. Hold on 1 second. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, let me try again. I don't know if I got that. Oh. Yeah, right there. PotterStocks. Oh, is it? You know what? I was confusing my screen name with my actual username. Sorry. I yucked up. Alrighty. Thank you. Now I know. So here's multitude of different factors going into tomorrow. Obviously, we're in 255s. I would love to see this run. It has the potential to do so. We just talked about the cues. But I've always got to be realistic with myself and what I see. And I'm using this wick right here, but I do see the potential for a run up around, or excuse me, a reversal at this mark of 254.25. I'd even say 254.30. And you can see going back now, great volume towards the end of the day, but you can see this is pretty habitual of Microsoft to have less volume in the morning. Now we've had big volume here and here as well. Bottom buys. This is actually Nancy Pelosi back here. I know this because I saw what she bought, but anyway, so this one looks to make a new high. With the setup with the cues and everything, but we do have an ascending wedge here on the hourly time frame. Normally when these patterns set up, it's a bit like this, where it has that 2 flags in a row, but it's making, and these aren't like terribly bearish flags at all. Like you can see the buying or selling power dissipate on them really quickly, volume drop off really, really quickly. But this wide base here is just giving me kind of the heebie-jeebies as far as whether or not we're going to move to the upside. And then as well as seeing the 6-day moving average just starting to flatten out a little bit. And then as well as my 9-day moving average kind of backing up that support right there. I would imagine that it would bounce here. But that's the thing, is tomorrow we're going to have to take a look at this. So if you guys aren't here in the morning, at 8:30 Eastern time, then I would just check to see if we've gapped up. If we've gapped up above 253.30, sweet. If we haven't, then we'll have to reassess. And honestly, like the positions for this week were relatively cheap. And I mean, it's just one of those things. I signaled it. You guys should be up on those contracts, so I'd imagine that we'll be fine. Being able to exit, if anything, maybe even in profit. So. And that's where that trend line comes from. I don't know why it's doing that. I mean, you can even run it back to so you have multiple corrections that happened on Microsoft during that initial dump, and they definitely lifted this up. I mean, that's a big bullish candle here. So we you know what we could do? We could end up making a doji tomorrow. So if anything, we might have like a three bar play. So a doji, big push, hit that 256, and then maybe, I mean, we have a giant gap to fill, and I just don't know if that's probable. So I'm not pulling the trigger on 260s. Quite yet, because I'd need to go out a little bit further, and it's just a little bit too much premium for me to take that bet. So okay, Microsoft. Last one, GRWG. Excuse this crazy looking chart. Damn, why did I have to draw a pullback on this chart? So I don't know if you can see that. I drew a pullback. I don't know why. It actually did pull back. Okay, so GRWG, we talked about this last time. This one's taking a little bit longer to play out. A little bit of consolidation here. But the reason why I took it, and it's pretty obvious here on this hourly time frame, that we have broken this downtrend, or if anything, we've broken out of this pattern here. So if we pull this up now, what I'm concerned with, and we'll know, and this is why I labeled that 45 June 18th 177. So if you bought I bought 3 of those. But if you took that call and we don't gap up, GRWG moves wild, okay? Like, imagine being here and then there. Like, that's scary and that is damning, right? It's the hourly time frame. But look at this. We get a giant short and then you get a big boost up. So in my opinion, if they end up faking this out, then I would just immediately switch it out. But we have, if we look at the daily, you can see we have broken this major downtrend as well. So if I actually fix that, so there. So take a peek at that. Let me delete these extra shit. So this is essentially what we're working with. See, the daily time frame looks sketchy. I don't know about that. See, that doesn't make any sense. But anyway, okay. So looking at the this daily time frame, I guess if I'm using the wicks, if I'm using the bodies, it looks like you get the breakout. If I use the wicks, it looks like we're consolidated underneath. That's still a flag. So if we gap up tomorrow, we should make a pretty decent run into the 45s. If we end up rejecting, it's a pretty easy get out of the trade and move it on. So move on, move it on. What are we, cows? I'll throw up some fibs. Take a look at mRNA if you have a chance. Sorry, dude. I can't help it. Dad jokes are who I am. Sorry, just experimenting here. All right. Apple, wonky. Oh, Baidu. Okay. Y'all ready for this? This could be a sick play. Just based off technicals. So here's what's popping. I have and I don't have my EMAs up, but if I did, look at that. Right? Gap up, resistance test, gap down, huge. I wish I would have caught that. Ugh. Anyway, huge gap down. Buyers there's a lot of buyers sitting at 190, a lot. But bears are actually taking. I know it's all right though. I traded through all of this, so I'm a pretty persistent dude. I mean, it took some money from me, but I see the setup, and I even see a bullish setup here coming soon. But so break of resistance. This one looks like a simple trip back down in this channel. So if you see this channel here, we draw this support there, and that's being, I know some people would just say like there. So either way, we still have a trip down to the 178 level. If I'm running it off of here, off of that body like I talked about, right about there. And the reason why I like that, right, is because I noticed that if I can. So if I line this body up right here, I get 2 taps off of that support. So it kind of gave me extra verification. So I am expecting a gap down. You can see here on Baidu, on rejections and stuff like that, it's not always a straight line, and buyers can be pretty persistent. So I am looking, for continuation tomorrow. And if you look at the hourly time frame as well, you can see really obvious 188.40 break, and that's likely going to spill over. But it does have that potential for a double bottom. We will know soon enough, likely on a gap down or gap up. The options on this week's contracts were really cheap, so I was able to kind of take advantage of those. Alrighty, Yeah, the hourly looks ugly for sure. This is also something we can keep in mind here. That's one. That's not the high, right? But that's also something I was looking at right here. That's not a pattern per se, right? That's just a level, but I have a speculative resistance there that doesn't really line up very well. But this one right here, you can see multiple respect lines here. So it's either or. I mean, and I hate saying that because it sounds so stupid, but I mean, these wicks right here show that there are buyers, but we're not getting that bounce, and we didn't have that volume today. I was able to catch a 190 and let it go in the money and then dip out. Yeah, Andy, that is a good point. You do have the H pattern possibility for sure. Absolutely. I have alerts set all over that one, so I'm just looking for a break to the downside below 188. Yeah, 188.40, 188.50 essentially. So. All right. Boeing charged Japan 1,500% markup on plane part, Air Force. Ooh. Do investors love that? I don't know. That's a lot. That's a huge ass markup. Damn. Boeing self-flying tankers successfully refuels U.S. Oh shit. That's badass. Navy jet refuels from Boeing self-flying tanker. That'd be cool. All right, so did you say mRNA? I think I saw that ripping today, right? Yeah, that one on the hourly has a nice bull flag, bounced off of the hourly time frame. So I mean, it looks good for continuation. Great volume. Daily time frame. Looks like it could use a freaking pullback. I don't know. This be careful. If this thing continues to top out like that, then you may just end up. I honestly think that you may see a pullback here, man. Now that I look at that, you may see a pullback before you see continuation. I could be wrong. Obviously, buyers are present, but they pushed it off the 9. But that doesn't mean that this is where they draw the line. So. Yeah, I would probably wait for continuation or for a pullback of some sort. Excuse me. Tesla, obviously showing out today. Could be news related. This is also consolidating heavily in the level that we talked about. Basically just kind of chopping around in here. Let me delete my Fib lines. But I'm going to basically give you my thoughts here. So, in my opinion, okay, so if they're moving into the Indian market space, that's awesome. That's great. I think that a lot of people have a misconception about what India is. Like they think this is dirt poor country. Like no, it's a really good market for cars and potentially selling cars there. I can't speak on roads or anything like that, but I do know that cars are sold if you look at the numbers, and they are a big consumer of automobiles. But that being said, it takes a lot more than an announcement to make that happen. So we're gonna have to see actual tangible moves. And so I mean, if you're a long-term investor, Tesla's fine. Short-term investor, right now we are dealing with a couple of different situations. We have what kind of crazily looks like an inverse head and shoulders here. So let me draw So you get a little shoulder there, shoulder here, head here. I try not to have them. My true break would be above 611, 610 level. That's 200-day moving average is likely going to move and line right up with the resistance. That move, if we end up moving that way, like right about this, right about there, then you could expect something like that, right? And that would put us back down to support. But with the inverse head and shoulders, this could be the initial run. And so all you would have to do, right? And you can see now that I corrected my resistance, the 200-day EMA is there. So if it ends up breaking to the upside, volume picks back up, then I think it's absolutely a tangible, it's tangible that we could see that crossover on Tesla and a continuation move to the upside. So, all right, 20 more minutes, guys, 25 more minutes. All right. Yeah, so inverse head and shoulders, watch it above 612. Wait for that break and downtrend there. All right, what are we looking at? Oh, that's right. Eyes, sorry. Yeah, watch it. Watch it. A multitude of different EMA crossovers happening on the hourly time frame. Decent volume, nothing crazy yet, but I like that movement for sure. Set some levels. Oh, okay. Makes perfect sense. Okay. All right, so looking at the daily, looks like your first incoming target is 760. 760 does have some major wicks up to the 820 range, so watch the volume. This one looks like it's on the rebound. I mean, it made a crazy rip from the $1 basically all the way up to $19 freaking dollars and back down at 7. So still up for the year, but we're gonna need to see continuation. Let me look at the hourly here. So that looks like it's setting up in a wedge, right? Whenever you make those wide bases, I don't think the wedge is going to be there. But do pay attention to where you see your first rejection. I can't predict like where that's going to end up, but it does look like it's trying to form. Let's leave it right there, but does have that kind of wide base where ascending wedges is kind of a form. But yeah, I think volume, take it up to the 760 range for sure. HAL Halliburton. This one actually, I already had took a look at this one today because I believe that we saw flow. Can you guys see that? I think I should be able to see that. Hold on a second. Yeah, you do. Okay. So, where is it at? Nothing. Let me go back into the raw data. I'm pretty sure I saw Hall. So on the 3rd, last week, there was Halliburton September 17th, $29 calls. And those were, let's see, about $1.70. Same day you have January 21st as well of 2022. So that is still in play, likely. Let's go to so it looks like you're making a little bit of a flag here, hourly flag. You have 1, 2, so you could afford further consolidation. But I would just make sure you have a trend line set like so. And then I would make sure that you have an alert set on that trend line. And a couple marks that you could also set is the 2475. That would probably trigger some sort of breakout if you hold a daily candle above that range. And of course, the $25 range. So if you look at the daily though, yeah, you're up up against a pretty significant resistance here, and you've had some serious downtime. Oof, that's a lot of damage. Wow, $58, all the way down to $4. Ugh. So here's the deal. You either get a double top, right? It's a little bit late, but a double top, or you end up, and as a matter of fact, yeah. So I would draw a trend line there as well, because you could continue to pull back. They might just build this flag and bullshit you. But you could continue to pull back until you get a bounce there, or you make a new high and then you end up kind of creeping, flatlining back down to support. So, but it looks good. Dividends just occurred, I imagine, on today. Okay, so expect maybe potential pullback with that. So. All right. We saw XPVE make some pretty tight movement today. NEO, that's not a ticker. NEO made some redonkulous movement, bouncing off of its trend today. Of course, Steve, hopefully that helped, man. Yeah, pretty much any and everything. I mean, even let's see, what did Cat do? Oh, I missed Cat. Oh, that was a simple support break and a really gnarly double top. Although I wouldn't have. Oh my god, damn, that was a good play. Yeah, you guys see the support I have drawn there. That's all right. Can't catch them all. I catch a lot of them, but it's all right. We'll get the count to a milli, and then I'll get 2 stream decks, and I'll tape them. I'll have like a big plastic board that comes out of my sleeve, and that way no matter where, I could just do this, and that'd be super cute. Let's see here. That was such a simple stack. Hey, sorry for those of you who just joined who had to see that idea in real life. All right, so Penn it was one that I was paying close attention to. Hourly consolidation underneath the 200-day moving average. Wow, when you word it like that, my guy. Pause. So anyway, two potentials here. You got the potential for a little double top, or with this high volume on pen, you have another potential run. I would say especially past that 85.25 level. You could potentially see the 86.50 level. Obviously, some of you guys are delayed. That's hilarious. Anyway, so nice volume here. This is also in sympathy with everything else. DraftKings obviously taking the front running on that one, seemingly being the more liquid stock. Las Vegas stands not quite seeing any movement, but GNOG did have and does have a potential run up to. Let me correct my. Just excuse that chart here. Actually, I take that back. Looks like GNOG is out of the box. I am correct. Okay. So GNOG holding, you might have a triple bottom here off of the 200-day moving average. So tomorrow, watch it above yesterday's or today's high. And that one could be a good leap. Maybe 16, maybe out till December, maybe out till next year, depending on how cheap they are. We'll take a look at those options tomorrow as a potential long-term play. Now, that is not a G, my guy. Let's talk about Jamia, and then I'm probably gonna hop off here. So I saw a lot of you guys playing this today. Was really happy to see you guys getting some gains. Algo trade. What's that? Deepen. Algo traded. Oh, you're talking about GNOG? Anyway, so linear deviation on Jamia, it's just a channel with a line in the middle of it. Sounds fancy. It's not that fancy. Basically, today, linear deviation is exactly where we ended up projecting. So we ended up having a pullback there, making that hammer top, holding the 6-day moving average, always a good sign. But more than likely, you could see, and you could even say it's making kind of a funny cup and handle. But this line here, right, and that's the reason why it's thick and red. In fact, look at it. It actually hit that, and that's where we initially rejected. So we need to see this cup and handle play out for sure. And then funny enough, if it does, okay, so let's put a price target on it. So if it does break above that channel, 33.50, right? The target or the next resistance would be around 35. So that could be the next run up for Jamia. Now let me also tell you something about Jamia. I have played this game before with Jamia, and I'll show you where. And it's crazy. I can just think of it off the top of my head, like it's a real life event that happened. Doesn't feel real. Look at that. Channel trading breaks above the channel. So when and if it does, and it goes and hits that target, I'm out at 35. I don't care if it goes to 1,000. Actually, if it does, I'll be back in. But you get what I'm saying. I've seen it. I've seen it before. I'm not getting played around again. But nice channel chop. See you break above it. We'll talk. All right. Maxar. Yeah, we already covered that one. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I'd love to sit down and design my own, but. All right. Any request? Anything else? Shit, Fubo just ripping. Fubo will likely sit flat tomorrow if it ends up taking another leg up. What else we got, y'all? It is 9:25. I got 5 minutes for you guys. Be sure to tune in tomorrow, 8:30. If you guys don't follow us or follow me on Twitter, again, I'm PotterStocks. Potter_stocks, as I learned today. TSLA? Nah. Ooh, that thing is not super liquid. Is this the right one? Oh, wait, hold on. STLA? Stellantis? Oh, that's not even in our country. Hold on. STLA. Got it. Hot diggity damn. No, I haven't. That one doesn't look super duper liquidy either, but wow. Wow. If you've been in this or in that, I mean, that's crazy. I wouldn't chase it, to be honest with you. I'd leave it alone. Let's see, where is it at in relativity? Yeah, I mean, you could see a $24 run. I'm gonna set an alert on it, but I mean, it looks great. Looked great. I mean, this is crazy, but I don't think I would take it until you get a decent pullback. Maybe even look for a pullback around this. Let's see, where is it pulling back to? Looks like the 20 EMA. So maybe you pull back to that 2085. If not, just continue to monitor. Maybe enter a position at the break. So chase it. Ooh, overstock. Looks like it's gonna dump. Is Heck Diesel on here? He's probably aiming at me through his computer right now. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Got it. Perfect. Ooh, baby, I would like to grab a put. Yeah, overstock has a shitty setup. Overstock's gonna fall. Why do I want to grab a put? Let's see, where's some targets? Remember this one, guys. I'll go short on it probably out to June 18th, depending on the premiums. All right. Well, pretty excited for tomorrow. See you guys in the morning. Please feel free to, if you guys see any tickers, write them down. If you guys see anything movement, bring it up in the morning. We'll go over the charts and we'll go from there. Today, a great day, but remember that everything is a cycle. So if we have a good day tomorrow, or if we had a good day today, that means that we need to be extra careful tomorrow. We don't need to become complacent. I think one thing that I've seen on Twitter that hasn't been my favorite thing to kind of monitor, but is this feeling that we're back, was actually the quote that I saw. And I don't think that we're back. I think that there's still quite a bit of price targets that need to be broken, even volume. People still sitting on the sidelines. So cannabis sectors, those small sectors, EV sectors, you might see movement. And I don't know if anybody's remembered me talk about the fracturing that was like potentially, to be seen within the market, where we would have major, like, some of the bigger names start to pull back and see some of the smaller names start to take reign. And that's kind of what we're seeing. Apple doesn't look great. Had a good, decent, it didn't dump on its event, but there's just a lot. Anyway, be very careful. You guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys for leaving likes. Thank you guys for supporting us, being in the chat, hanging out with us. And we will see you guys tomorrow. Also, real quick before I leave, I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow, but it will likely be in the next week, where I will be doing, due to, obviously I come in after hours, or I come in at around 3 o'clock, trade till the end of the day. So I think what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be trying to recap immediately. So I'll just kind of take a 10-minute intermission and then go straight into recapping with you guys. So anyway, have a good night. Thank you guys for tuning in. See you guys next time.